Welcome to episode 10, Joe's One Pot Wonders. We're back again and we're going to be doing a chocolate protein cake. Great way to introduce the protein powders I use to the channel. And a great way to add a treat into either a weight loss plan or just regular healthy eating. I'll have a quick run through of the equipment and a quick run through of the ingredients. We'll explain a little bit more about the protein powders. Yeah, let's crack on. Anyway, if you hear any strange noises today, it's because I've got a travelling fair outside my door, about 10 feet away. I am actually recording this at 8:22 in the morning to avoid them. I've got the sun blasting in one window, not ideal. Well, I'm just getting all my excuses out the way now anyway. Anyway, we're going to be needing a set of food scales, a couple of bowls, one for the wet ingredients and to mix in, one for the dry ingredients, a whisk, or if you've got one, and I would recommend you get one if you can at some point, a food mixer. This is only a cheap one, I think it was about a tenner from Argos. They all do the same job, you don't need to spend a fortune on them. You're going to need spatula and a couple of bits of cutlery to weigh out the ingredients with. A sieve if you've got one, not that important. And a cake tin. I got this cake tin from a charity shop for £1, and I'm not sure if it's going to be a sticker or not, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to run a little bit of fry light around the edges. I've lined the bottom in case it leaks because it's got a loose bottom. I'll just run that around there and hopefully that will stop it sticking when it comes out of the oven. Okay, right, we'll move on to the ingredients. And the two protein powders that we're going to be using today is a whey protein powder, a chocolate flavour because it's a chocolate cake, and a Casien powder. This is a vanilla one. It's for the cream to go with the cake. It's great, it's great. Anyway, a little bit about the protein powders. Whey protein is a byproduct from the cheese industry. When you see them swilling the cheese round and they put salt on and they draw all the moisture out, that's basically the whey. People think it's just for bodybuilders, and yeah, the bodybuilders and fitness people do use it a lot. I use a strawberry one in the morning when I come back from the gym. It just sets us up. It stifles my hunger, and it just, I don't know, there's something about them that make us feel good. Anyway, and the Casien is a slow release protein powder. They say have it at night time and it'll slow release, but that's just from a fitness point of view. From a food ingredient point of view, if you look on the back of any convenience foods, you'll probably see whey protein. Whey protein is probably the most popular. Casein protein doesn't get the same amount of attention as whey protein, but whey protein, you'll find it in chocolate bars, cakes, cereals, anything that's got the word protein on, and that's being charged more for the privilege. That's probably it. Anyway, we'll move on to the ingredients now. I'm going to do it a little bit different this week. I'm going to weigh the ingredients out as we go. Alright, so we'll start with the dry ingredients. And we'll just put them all in one bowl and set them aside. These protein powders are only, I think they were £14 and £15 respectively. So the initial outlay is quite high, but they do last a long time. Now we're going to have 100 grams of self-raising flour. Doesn't matter if you go over by a couple of grams or under by a couple of grams. It's perfectly fine, as long as you don't go over by like 10 grams or something, then you're going to start running the recipe out and you're piling on calories. That's unnecessary. Okay, now we're going to have 30 grams of cocoa powder. There, that will do. 31. We have 50 grams of the chocolate whey protein powder. I can't emphasize enough how good protein powders are for weight loss diets and just general feeling great. If you're exercising more and you're serious about getting yourself into shape, then I'd recommend them all day. So I'll have 50 grams of the chocolate protein powder. We have 10 grams or thereabouts of baking powder, just to make it sit up a bit more in the oven. That'll do for me. 8 grams, close enough. And we're going to set this aside, and we'll start on my wet ingredients. I didn't think I'd make it the 10th episode, and it does feel a bit strange making a cake at 8:30 in the morning, but hey, here we go. Anyway, the wet ingredients. We'll start with 100 grams of a low fat spread. Most supermarkets have them. This one is pretty cheap, but you've got to read the side and make sure that you've got spreading, baking and cooking, because some of them just fall apart in the oven. The low fat, because they just pump with water and they don't work very well at all. Anyway, we'll have 100 grams of this. So that's a bit too much, so we'll take some out. 96 is fine. Best to be 1 under or 2 under than 10 over. We'll have 2 eggs. There'll be a full list of ingredients and a full list of the equipment in the description, so not to worry if you've missed any. You can just go down there and have a look around. Then, which is an odd one with cakes, like I've never really understood. This canderel, we're going to put in just a decent spoonful. I've never understood why they put the sugar as a wet ingredient when clearly it's dry in it. It's a dry ingredient. But never mind, it works, so don't knock it. Right, just have a little tidy up and we'll crack on. I didn't really get into protein powders until I started going to the gym, and I wish I'd known about them earlier. Really, I was like everybody else. I thought, oh, they're just for weightlifters and bodybuilders and that, and I didn't bother. But I wish I had, because you have one in the morning. Well, I do anyway. It might not be the same for everyone. Well, I have a protein shake in the morning after the gym. It will set us up till lunchtime, pretty much. It's only about, I think there's about 200 calories in a protein shake. Anyway, we're going to give this wet ingredients a good mix together. It might look a bit gross, but it's fine. It would look exactly the same if you done it with an electric blender, but you just wouldn't see it because it's a bit quicker. Anyway, straightforward cake mix. So if you know how to make a cake mix, you know how to make a cake mix, and I'm probably telling you to suck eggs, but right, that's what I promised. Right, once that's mixed like that, we're going to take the dry ingredients. We're just going to put half in to start with. The sieve's not really important. You can just tip it straight in, but I think anyone who's born in the 1970s and that, or before, was always taught to make cakes with a sieve. It just feels a little bit odd without one. Anyway, we'll just give this a mix in. It looks a bit dry and that, and it's fine, it'll come together, don't worry about that. But yeah, I got both of these, like I said, I got both of these protein powders from Home Bargains for about £15 each. Big outlay to start with, I understand that, and I understand my channel's about economical cooking, but if you spread it out over the course of what you get out of them, then it's perfect. What you're going to do is just add a little bit of the milk. We're going to drip feed the milk because we don't want it too slack, we don't want it running out the bottom of the cake tin. We want a nice smooth cake mix. Anyway, get that mixed in a little bit and we'll add the rest of the dry ingredients. We'll give it a mix. Still feels weird talking to a camera and talking to an empty room. I am starting to get used to it, but it's odd when you're trying to, I know I'm making excuses, but you're trying to make a cake or cook something and talk about a related subject, but not, if you know what I mean, and it can catch me out a bit. So normally you just cook in silence, don't you? Or you'll have someone in the room that you can talk to. Anyway, enough excuses, let's crack on. Right, all the dry ingredients in, we're just going to mix these in. It will, like I say, it look dry, but I'd give it a fair go of mixing before you start adding more milk than that. We just want to see exactly where we're at, because we don't want it just a sloppy mess. It's not good. It comes together pretty quick. So there we can put a drop more milk in. That's probably going to be enough actually to do the whole mix. Yeah, the fundamentals of losing weight are pretty straightforward, you know. You've got to get yourself into a calorie deficit, which means you've got to use more energy than that you're consuming. And the easiest way of doing that, in my book, is to eat a little bit less and to move a little bit more. I know that sounds really simple and really straightforward, but that's basically the crux of it. You can go and do your weightlifting and that, and I would recommend weightlifting. The two exercises I would recommend for a beginner trying to get into shape or trying to lose a few pounds is walking and some kind of resistance work, some kind of weightlifting, some kind of picking up. It could be just carrying the bags from the shops to the car, or carrying the shopping home. I recommend if you walk to the shops, take the long route, take the scenic route. Doesn't matter, you've got plenty of time, and they all add up. All these steps add up. And see, I walk for miles and miles, and it's the number one thing that I found that's helped me lose my weight. And people look at it as a bit strange because I do it most days. But I don't care. I ain't conscious about that. I'm happy about what I'm doing. Anyway, 50 grams of chocolate chips, just to make it a bit more luxurious. They can go in. I say there'll be a full ingredient list in the description along with the equipment. Let's give that a good mix. We've got our oven preheated, so we're all ready to go. And we'll get this into the cake tin and get it into the oven. Don't think you're any different when it comes to losing weight or getting into shape. Everyone has a go. Yeah, your body will try to resist it a little bit, for the aches and pains and the hunger. But if you're persistent and you stick at it, before you know it, exercise stops becoming a chore, becomes a pleasure. The diet, you don't miss what you haven't got, to be quite honest with you. So the chocolate bars and the high sugar drinks and stuff like that, they can all go. They can all go and you can replace them. I'm not saying replace them with like carrots and anything. You've got to have a varied diet, i.e. this chocolate cake. You could have this chocolate cake and the mousse. I think the whole meal only comes to 260 calories, which is great because I know for a fact that a shop bought muffin is 280 calories on its own, just the muffin. And it's full of refined sugars, refined fats. It's not good. It's not good. I mean, this one, yeah, I use a low fat spread. I use skim milk. Just make little changes. Anyway, I'll get this into the tin, spread it out, give it a little tap just to knock some of the bigger air bubbles out. We don't want all the bubbles out because it'll make a flat cake. Anyway, there we go. We'll just get rid of this last bit of cake mix off a spoon and go into the oven. I'm going to bake this in the oven for about 18 to 20 minutes at 160 degrees Celsius or 320 Fahrenheit, I think it is. I keep getting that confused because I haven't got a gas cooker. I'll cook with electric. And that can go in for 18 to 20 minutes. We'll check it after 18 and hopefully we'll have a cracking cake. Right, while that's in the oven, we can prepare with cream. This is pretty straightforward as well. 2 ingredients. I'm going to use the little bowl that will have dry ingredients in and a whisk. We'll just tear these scales up. We're going to be using a Greek yogurt and the casein protein powder. What I do is I'll just make it up as I want it. So I'll make like a 200 gram serving up. That'll do for me. That's like my portion. You can make more if you've got more people coming or you're feeding more. But anyway, we'll start with 200 grams of a fat-free Greek yogurt. It's all these little things: the fat-free Greek yogurt, the skim milk, the low-fat butters. They all make a difference. They all add up. They've got. You're just trimming back calories, unnecessary calories. You're trimming them back. And to be honest with you, you get used to full fat stuff, and it might taste weird for a couple of weeks, but 6 weeks down the line, you'll be thinking full fat stuff tastes just as bad as what the low fat stuff used to taste like. Anyway, this is 200 grams of a fat-free Greek yogurt and 15 to 20 grams of the casein protein powder, which is about half a scoop. A scoop roughly comes out to 30 grams. And basically all we're going to do with this one is just mix it. It'll look a bit floury and a bit rough. But we'll mix it up and it'll start going really smooth. Like so. You see? It's gone so smooth. I use that casein protein powder. That one's from Home Bargains because it's a vanilla flavour. The sun's gone a bit bright, so I apologise for that. I can't control the weather. But I also use an unflavoured one from My Protein. I'll show you in a minute and then we'll have a look. Anyway, that's done. We can put that in the fridge and just let it set off. You can use it as you want. It'll last all day in the fridge. I wouldn't recommend it being there for like 2-3 days, but overnight, the next day, it's fine. I do it all the time. Anyway, we'll get rid of that. We'll have a little wipe down, and I'm going to show you the final protein powder that I use regularly. The casein protein powder that I use. And it is this one. It is from My Protein, and it's the casein protein powder. It's exactly the same as the other one, really, just that this one's unflavoured. It's unflavoured, which makes it easier to add flavours. And what I do is I buy things called flavour drops. These, that one's a toffee one, that one's a banana one. You can get all kinds: vanilla, chocolate, peanut butter, chocolate, peanut butter. Funny, there's a pattern development here. Cheesecake, and another toffee. Basically, it's a 5-minute mousse. I'm making it up the same way as I did with the mousse for the chocolate cake. A few drops of them in. Perfect. Perfect. Low calorie. It's a sweet treat. It kills the need for a pudding. Because I don't know about you, but I know for a fact there's 2 types of eaters. There's bread eaters and there's cake eaters, sweet eaters. I'm a bit of both, to be honest with you, like, and I've really got to be mindful. Be mindful. That's the best way of putting it. I've got to be mindful of not cramming in loads and loads. Right. After 18-20 minutes, we'll take the cake out. And here's, going to need one of these. I forgot to show it earlier. But just a cooling rack to cool the cake down with. You can use just the thing out the grill. I do sometimes if it's a bit smaller, but I've got a bit of a bigger cake tin here. So, and yeah, I hope you like the look of this cake. I hope it comes out the oven fine. Like I say, what you see is what I see. There's no second takes here, no fancy things to make us look good or anything. It's just straight up cooking, the honest way. It has stuck a little bit because this is probably the reason why the cake tin was in the charity shop in the first place. You just got to be a bit aware of that. But we'll just run a knife round and hopefully it will come up in one piece. Okay, we'll put that on there. Here goes, here goes. Give it a tap. There we go. Very good, very good. We'll take this off. There you have it. You have this like matte finish. You get that on all the protein cakes, to be honest with you. Like, it's just because we've replaced the sugar with the protein powder. It just has a different effect in the oven. Anyway, we'll leave this to cool and we'll plate it up. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope I haven't rambled on too much. It's my first time I spoke to the camera properly. The next couple may be voiceovers again because of the fair. Like I said before, the fair is so loud, so loud. I mean, don't get us wrong, I've missed it because it hasn't been here for the last 2 years because the world went into chaos like we all know about. So I'm not going to complain about it. I'm going to enjoy the noise, enjoy the chaos outside. And yeah, hopefully we'll have a good time. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you think anyone could benefit from these videos, please share them with them. Hit the like button and all that stuff that YouTube and likes you to do, and I'll see you in the next one. The next ones we're going to start changing it up a little bit. I need to start progressing my views. I'm only on a handful of views per video at the minute, which is fine because I'm only learning, and I appreciate that, the fact that I've got to learn my craft, and just like everything else. But anyway, stick to your healthy eating plan, keep active, be kind to each other, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much, and goodbye. Oh, and before I go, I will put the macros on the screen for those who are interested. There'll be a full list of ingredients and equipment in the description. I think I might be starting to lean a bit heavier towards the descriptions for the ingredients and the equipment, because it does soak up a lot of time in the videos. Anyway, thanks very much, stay active, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you, goodbye.